Have you ever been romantically involved with someone or even just interested in someone and wanted to know if they would make a quality spouse? Because not knowing if a person is on track to becoming your forever love could cost you time, money, and even much more. Hi, I'm Bob and I'm a pastor in Tokyo, Japan. I've been married for just over 5 years now, and my wife and I got married in the first 8 months of us ever laying eyes on each other. Now, I believe that there are certain factors that made this possible and reduced the chances that my now wife and I were making the worst decision of our lives. In this video, I want to help reduce the chances of you going through a horrendous heartbreak by giving you 3 signs that you can look for and that can help you tell if a guy is truly serious about cherishing you and your heart. First, I should probably clarify that these signs have nothing to do with how much a guy earns, how he dresses, how he looks, and even whether he is your type or not, even if those things could need a little improvement. I've come to discover that paying too much attention to these false metrics could potentially destroy the chances of you finding a great and meaningful relationship. You need to focus your attention on the right clues in order for you to find your forever love. When I first met my wife, I had to make the decision on whether I wanted to marry her or not within the first 3 months of us meeting. If I didn't do that, she was going to leave, because when we met, she had already, in fact, booked a flight that would leave the country in the next few months. And so I had to make things clear to her in the soonest possible time in order for her to stick around, to stay in the country, and try and make this relationship work. Well, now we've been married for just over 5 years and we have 3 kids. She is one of them. And I can honestly say that it is the best decision I have ever made. And so if you would like to achieve similar results in your relationship or with your love interest, here are 3 signs that I think that you need to look for. When my wife and I first met, even before we started to officially date, I never let her pay for a single thing whenever we went out to eat. I know this might sound strange to some, and it even might be a cultural thing. I always paid the bill in full. This was even when I was still a broke university student, only earning very little money on my part-time jobs. At that time, she was working as a nurse and was earning pretty good money from her work. But I showed myself to be responsible and someone who had the potential to take care of someone else because of how I took financial responsibility for her whenever I could. And so the first sign that you need to look for in a potential husband is responsibility. Does he make an effort to take responsibility for you and your needs? And this leads us to the next sign that we need to look for. Have you ever met someone and just kept on wondering what they were doing with their life? You wonder, where are they going? Do they have any plans or goals for their life? When my wife and I met, I was studying to be a pastor. I had big dreams to change the world, and I was studying as hard as I could, trying to achieve this goal of helping meet the spiritual needs of people. And so even though I hadn't yet graduated from university and I didn't even have much money, my wife could see something in me. She saw the fire, the drive, and the sense of direction I had. And I believe that that gave her a sense of confidence in who I was. This is the second critical key that we need to look for in a potential husband. Does he have a drive? Does he have direction? Is he driven to achieve something meaningful? Does he wake up every morning with a goal and a sense of purpose and working toward a dream? Because a man with a direction is a man who is going somewhere. And that's the kind of man worth considering for a future. The third and final sign to look for in a potential husband comes from something that my wife and I agreed on early in our relationship. You see, my wife never had an issue with the idea of being a stay-at-home mom. Now, I understand that not every woman wants that lifestyle, and that's completely fine. But for us, discovering that we were on the same page about this was a very big deal, especially that we live in a culture that tends to look down on stay-at-home moms. But she was open to staying at home for a few years until the kids reached a certain age, and that meant a lot to me, especially that she already had a career as a nurse. On the flip side, when she realized that I fully supported her in that decision, that was a huge deal for her as well. And that brings me to the third key sign that you should be looking for, and that is a shared sense of mission, a common mission. My wife and I felt that we had the same vision for the future, that we were moving in the same direction, that we had a lot of shared values. And so that shared sense of purpose made our journey towards marriage smoother and speedier and with a lot less complications. So those are the 3 signs that you can look for to help you determine whether someone is a good fit for you and whether they could make a great potential spouse. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment. I would love to hear your thoughts.